Hi, we're here to talk about the next release of Snagit. With this release, we're really focused on a few different groups and the pain points and the problems that they've described to us. One is technical communicators, second is trainers, and third is anyone really creating technology that can be engineering or testing, or people doing education or marketing or onboarding for a technical product. We're continuing to work on themes that we've addressed over the past couple of years in Snagit 13 and 4, but we're going much deeper in some areas in the next version that we're calling Snagit 2018. First off, we've heard a lot from folks that they really want to be able to grab text off the screen. So sometimes you have a really hard to copy and paste thing like an error message or a system dialog, and copy and paste just simply doesn't work. So we want to solve that problem.
Another use case that we hear about a lot is people that want to grab a list of file names quickly. So here I've taken a panoramic capture. You can see a list of files and the sizes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off the icons here. I'm going to go to Edit, Grab Text, and once I'm in, it'll process that this image here, and I'll get a results window, which you can edit, you can copy specific things from. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Copy All, and then I'm going to open a spreadsheet, and I'm going to paste it directly in there. And as you can see, once I paste this, it keeps the table layout, and you can see it has an accurate representation of the files, the date, the file type, and the size. So you can do that and compare against something else, or just store that off for historical purposes.
And another use case for grab text is when you need to repurpose content. Let's say someone sends you a flattened PDF, you don't have the original files, and you just need to get that text out of there. It saves a lot of time. As I mentioned earlier, we're building on features that were introduced in the 2016-17 releases. In this case, the autofill feature, which let you delete content from a screenshot and then fill in the blank space, like digital whiteout.
So we hear a lot about how hard it is to keep your documents up to date as your product changes. So we're going to use this website as an example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do just a normal image capture. So I'm going to capture this and I'm going to bring it into Snagit. So now that it's in Editor, what I'm going to do is I'm on the Move tool here. I'm going to check the Smart Move button. And what that's going to do is it processes the image, it looks for text and objects, and as I hover over things, you can see it's kind of recognized them for you. So you can tweak the level of detail that you get. Here I'm going to move it up a little bit. It's going to reprocess that image. And as you can see, as I mouse over things, it can accurately guess the areas that you have text and images on and other objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these objects around, and what happens now is I have an image that all I had to do is click and drag, it auto-filled the background, and I have something ready to send off to people on my team.
As you can see, we make it really easy to move shapes and text around just by hovering and click and drag. And it really feels like magic when you use it.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that are going on in the background there, and we don't have a whole lot of time to get into them today, but we're bringing together some powerful technologies. For instance, OCR, computer vision, and that content-aware fill that we introduced in the last release. But we're bringing that to you with the Snagit-style simplicity that you know and love.
And sometimes it's not just about moving or deleting things. So maybe you need to make a quick update to some text in your screenshot, and you don't want to have to go back and retake that screenshot.
So let's say the text in your product interface changed. So I'm going to use that same website as an example. I'm still in the Move tool and on Smart Move. What I'm going to do is as I mouse over text there, I just double click it, and it takes the text out, it puts a text object on there for you, it autofills the background, and I can just make my edit right here. So I'm going to type out some text, and then what I'm going to do is, since I'm not exactly happy with the replace that happened there, I can change the font size and any of that like I would with a normal text object.
And just to point out something cool that's really easy to miss, Snagit is actually matching the color and the size of the text and the general font type from the screen. So these are some game-changing features that are simply not found in other image editors. And all of them are coming to Snagit on both Windows and Mac. But you'll also see a lot of smaller refinements in the next version of Snagit.
So on Mac, as you drag things around on the canvas, you'll notice there are these blue lines that appear. And as they appear, you can align them with the canvas itself, but also other objects that you've created. You can also align them with objects that Smart Move has created as well. So this really shines with Smart Move, that you can actually align with things that are in the capture itself.
The snapping feature will be included on Mac right away with the major release, and is planned for a follow-up minor release on Windows. And that's not to say Snagit on Windows isn't getting its own set of refinements. It will now be a 64-bit app and include a number of performance improvements to help you work faster.
You can both capture and edit much larger images. In version 13, you were limited to 5,000 pixels to a side, and now it can handle 24 times as many. We've been making improvements to Snagit video over the past couple of releases to boost quality and performance, and that means silky smooth video without lagging your machine. You're now able to get 4 times as many pixels when recording webcam at 72% of the CPU load, and 40% less CPU usage when recording the screen.
The best part of my role is getting to talk to a lot of customers. More than once I've heard people say, "I'm sure it's probably impossible, but..." and then they basically describe the capabilities that we just demoed for you. So it's really exciting to be part of a team that is making impossible things not only possible, but easy.
We didn't have time to discuss everything added in this release, but as you can see, customer feedback and ideation play a big role in what we build. So please keep the suggestions coming. We love hearing about the big, ambitious ideas and the small yet significant requests. We'll continue listening and making Snagit better based on what we hear.